Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday, happy second recording. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well this season. I got a word for you. Tap and happy Monday, guys. Happy second recording. So, guys, this recording is going to be definitely out of the norm, if you will, for my topics. In fact, I had a good sis who asked me to make her so she wanted me to kind of speak more so less around quote unquote is pretty privilege a real thing. And then now that I'm thinking about it, there's another sis who wanted me to talk on. I think I said something in one of my I know I said something in one of my recordings in regards to those of you who've been silenced because you're considered to be a beautiful woman, that your best revenge is to find your voice and be confident in the way God made you. So this is going to kind of ping off in a few different areas. I want to speak in regards to women who have tortured their sisters, right? Meaning their other Black women, because sadly it's very, very common in our community. It's going to get deep because it stemmed from a lot of conditioning that even sometimes family members kind of pin women against little girls against each other, not even intentionally at times, just in ignorance. I'm going to speak on those women who carry that seed of envy and hate when they see a woman who gets attention. I want to speak to my sisters like myself who were always misunderstood or even targeted very early on because you are considered to be a beautiful woman. In fact, you may not even feel that way. And guess why you don't feel that way? We're going to speak about that. We're going to speak on, is pretty privilege a real thing? And then we're going to also maybe tie in I don't know. So let's start with is pretty privilege a real thing? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be 100% transparent here. I always said no, only because I was basing it on the things I've experienced in life, and then maybe even some ignorance, if I'm honest. So I have always been, and anybody who knows me knows this. In fact, it's in my documentary from Childhood Friends. I have always been a woman who have always worked really, really hard. The day I turned 17, I was determined to go get a job, and I did. I've never, ever not worked since 17 years old. Never. Even when I were in relationships with limitless credit cards, I still worked. So with that being said, the way my parents raised us was to never give someone the opportunity to hang something over your head. Meaning, beautiful or not, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where someone can say, oh, I gave you this opportunity because you were beautiful. And even if the person did it, I didn't know about it. But it would never be something that's hung over my head, meaning there's ties to it. Like you have something one up on me, if you will. Like you can fire me from a job because you gave me the job. Never, ever, ever. So in my own ignorance, I assume all women were like that. Obviously not. So yes, pretty privilege is a real thing, sadly. There are women who are beautiful and may get certain notches up on the belt in certain circumstances because of the way she looks. Just gonna be honest. Well, you probably already know it. I'm just figuring it out. And then when my good sis asked me to make this topic and I started reflecting back on my own life, I was like, you know what? See, as chosen one, you guys know we live in our head and we be in our own lane. So sometimes we don't really, really tap in and pay attention to things. But then I trying to reflect back on twice where your girl got pulled over by a cop. And in both circumstances, not only did I get let off, one of the officers went back to his car to write the ticket, came back with a blank ticket. Instead, it was his telephone number. It was his telephone number. I never called him, right? But it was his telephone number. So because things like that don't see, I chosen woman. Well, I'll speak for me. I don't know. Most chosen women, I'm sure, we are just not moved by stuff like that. It's something innate in us that God has just allowed us to be confident, but yet it's still a humble confidence. Now, let's be honest. Someone who is shaky in their own confidence or their own self-esteem, they're going to see your confidence as if you're bougie or you think you all that and all that, the cliche that insecure women use. There's a difference between confidence and cocky. And any other confident person will never, ever be fazed by a confident person. For example, there's a lot of hate and heat towards Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and even his kids because of his confidence. First of all, how the man is just confident. He's just confident. And any other man who's assured of himself, he wouldn't even see that as a threat. I mean, he can maybe be, I guess, what some would call over the top, but he's humble. So a person can be confident and assure of themselves, but humble at the same time. Humble meaning they know who they are. Humble meaning they put God first. Humble meaning they're not trying to make themselves seem better than anybody, but they're just reassured themselves and they're going to walk in their truth and walk in their confidence. But yet an insecure person will see that as cocky, as flamboyant, etc., etc., etc. Transparent moment. This might be my most transparent recording. I meet 1,000 men per day. I'm exaggerating, but you guys get the point. You guys get the point. I'm exaggerating. Have always, including to this very day, today. That has never, ever shape or mold my mind in a sense of, oh, you must be beautiful. You got your pics of it. Never. In fact, if I'm honest, I'm turned off by maybe 90% for various reasons. But more than anything, it's because I'm tapped in enough to know their true intent or just their mindset or just whatever, right? I don't care about any of that foolishness. Never have. So my sisters who have always been, who people have considered like beautiful little girls, right? As you were growing up, and then teenage years, et cetera, and so on and so on and so on. Sometimes when there were multiple sisters in the house or even cousins or, just within the house, one child, and this is even true for boys too, when it comes down to getting highlights. I think this is why it's very, very important for people to make sure that each child get the same amount of attention, because you can be creating this rivalry and this hate within siblings and you don't even know it. But this one boy he's the star player of the baseball team, but the other is more of like a geek, if you will, But then everyone only talks about the star player. Then what is that saying about the other child? That child would really grow up feeling some type of way, like he's not enough. He's not important. And now he's side-eyeing his brother. And now you got 50-year-old men who don't even like each other. Now, they won't let nobody else mess with each other, but they don't even like each other. Same thing happened with women. Even with skin tone. So now you have, let's just say you have a household with 5 daughters. I don't know. And one of them is, they're all beautiful, but maybe one is just really, really beautiful. And everybody who comes over and visit talks about how beautiful this one child is. And they just let the other 4 sit there, but all their attention is on this one child. She's the ballerina. She's this, she's that. All those other little girls, including adult women right now, who envy and have hatred in their heart because a woman cannot what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. A deer is literally on my porch. A deer is on my porch looking in the window. His head is in the window. I got distracted. A woman cannot help what she looks like. How can somebody help what they look like? That's not her fault. So now you got these little girls in the household or whatever. Now they're rolling their eyes at the one sister. Now, the beautiful little girl is being hyped up by everybody else. But her own sisters or cousins are rolling their eyes and now calling her names. And many times it's going to be the same names that other people call the other kids. Maybe in school, maybe the other kids get bullied for whatever reason, right? So now because they're struggling, because kids don't know any better, right? So now they're calling the beautiful little girl, they're making her feel ugly. They're calling her ugly. They're calling her fat. They're calling her blackie. They're calling her this, that, and third. Now, mind you, this is a beautiful little girl, but they're pounding this stuff into this child's head all out of jealousy and all out of the fact that their parents didn't pour into them. Now, as this beautiful little girl grows up, now she has to deal with the bullies in school. In the same scenario, some of the little girls in school may deal with the same issues of not being poured into, being picked on themselves. And here you have a beautiful girl, the first day of school, may have transferred from a new school, the star cheerleader, and now you have these children in school attacking. She goes back home to the very childhood who's attacking. Parents so blinded can't even see it. All before her foundation of confidence is solid. Now she's into high school, college, fast forward, same scenario. But why does she never see herself as beautiful? She can hear it all day long. Why do she not see herself as beautiful? And we're not even speaking about like beautiful. We're talking about attractive. We're talking about average. Her self-esteem is to the floor. She doesn't even see herself as normal. Because before her foundation, the foundation was built, it was already shooken. And then you can transfer over to the fact that maybe fathers weren't there, right? So that's neglect. Why am I not pretty enough for my dad to want to be here, right? Now you tie in the fact that you have some parents, I've never even known this was a thing until I've had women open up to me through email and just in transparent times. I never even known that it was possible for mothers to envy their daughters. So now you tie that in. You tie all this trauma in. Now you tie in first heartbreaks. You tie all that stuff in. And then you question yourself, why do some beautiful women not even feel beautiful? It's all trauma based. Why do you think you can find some people who may not be deemed to be attractive when it comes down to societal norms, if you will? But they're very confident. I know people like that. Men and women. Society will maybe deem them to be unattractive, but they're extremely confident. It's because they were poured into at a very, very early age. So when they go out of those doors, nobody can shake anything because that foundation was built early on. So again, is pretty privileged a thing? Absolutely. Sadly, but it's true. Absolutely. So my sisters, who are now adults, full-grown adults, are you not tired? Are you not tired of having that type of hate, harboring that type of resentment and that envy? Because it's heavy. It's heavy. It's toxic in your heart. You've carried it since childhood. At some point in life, we can no longer blame things that our parents did or that happened in childhood or that first broken heart. At some point when you become an adult, right, we have to be honest and real to say, okay, a person can't be this way because X, Y, and Z. That's reality. But putting the work in to unlearn everything that you've been taught, let it be through therapy, through a healing season, that is your responsibility. Most importantly, to be sure that your kids don't experience that. But instead, you're still walking around with that kind of envy and jealousy, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and even older. That you're still, after all these years, attempting to make a woman who looks just like you life miserable? Isn't life itself already difficult for everyone else? But the sad part is you're just as beautiful. You just can't see it. The sad part is the woman that you're hating on, she struggles with her own feelings of feeling beautiful. We're all women. We're not machines. We're women. We all walk around with insecurities at some days or sometimes and the whole 9 yards, but it shouldn't be, we're human. We're going to have our days, but it shouldn't be the foundation, your core. So at 40 years old, 50 years old, 30 years old, you're still coming in people's comment sections. You're still making fake profiles. You're still mass attacking people who are public figures. And then you wonder why we get this stigma about us, that we're angry. This is why I don't associate myself to a certain class of individuals, because it does rub off. It does make you look like a part of, nobody got time for that foolishness. And then you wonder why you can't attract better. You're recycling the same pain at the same level, and God ain't taking you nowhere with that hate in your heart. Put me around some beautiful women. In fact, I do it all the time. I amp my sisters up, girl, you bad. You ain't gonna shake my confidence. Even if I think you're more beautiful, I'm gonna tell you that. But you're not gonna shake my confidence, because what's for me is for me. What's for you is for you. There ain't no competition, period. Now, I believe in healthy competition. I got a friend like that. Like, it's healthy competition. Not even competition, just like more of a challenge type of thing, right? Not trying to do each other up, but we hype each other up, point blank, period. Until you ask God, literally ask God to cleanse your heart, repent for every female, even if God starts bringing kids back to your mind when you were the bully in second grade. If you don't repent and ask God for forgiveness and allow him to work on your inner, you're going to keep recycling that pain, and sadly, it's going to transfer over to your own kids. Next, look yourself in the mirror. I say this a lot, I'll say it again. Ask, literally ask God to help you to see yourself the way he sees you. It's a game changer, I promise you. You just got to ask. Next, march to the beat of your own drum. Don't allow society to tell you what you should look like, what you should be doing as a woman. You must be married. You must do this. Create your own narrative. What makes you happy? You. Screw everybody else. Everybody else is unhappy. Look at these nutcases. They're not happy. They don't even want to go home. They're jumping off of bridges. They're miserable. And so then they come and try to make other people miserable. People who are fulfilled will never, ever attempt to make someone else's life miserable, indirectly or directly. So that means you got a lot of work to do within yourself. To my good sisters who've taken a lot of abuse, torture, judgment, hate, because of something that you can't even control, please get up if you've been down. Now, there's many of you like myself, you got up a long time ago and you made a covenant with yourself that you will never sit down again to make someone else feel comfortable. Either you're going to get up with me and we're going to get this shine together, or you're going to sit down, but I'm going to get up, point blank, period. Period. Because now you know that it was never, ever about you. Because what happened? At some point, you may have sat down because it's like, okay, right? They silenced you. So you sat down. So when you sat down, what happened? They didn't even rise. That's how you know it's not about you. You sat down and they didn't even rise. They're still recycling the same foolishness. So it was never about you. It was always about them. I pray that the things that were said to you out of anger and hatred, I pray that if you have not released that yet and truly understand that it was never you, I pray that you do that, because if not, they won. They won. Do you know how many women who are like, it's not even their personality, but they're very like shy and almost like meek. Well, meek is not a bad thing, but but they're, the point is, it's not even who they are. That's not their, that was never their personality. They were pushed into that. They were forced into that narrative because they were told they're too much, or they get too much attention, or they're too beautiful, and they're too, all that foolishness, right? Get up, sis. Get up. And the truth is, because no matter what trauma that you recover from in life in general, is not always that you just like forget it and it never triggers you again. There will be moments where you get triggered with certain things, and that trigger is not even going to be about that particular moment. It's going to bring you back to that place, but you got to recognize it, right? You got to recognize it, and then you remember, no, I'm not going to sit down. I'm getting back up. I'll give you guys a great example. Many of you know about it. I took a picture with Pastor R.C. Blakes. A picture. Mind you. There were thousands of other pictures. Thousands. Probably more. But for some reason, me, little old me, something looks suspicious. Something looks suspicious. Ooh, first lady better watch her. An innocent picture that had none of those comments on other pictures. In fact, didn't even have those comments on pictures taken right after my picture. Same scenario, same setup. But you got about 5 mud ducks, bottom feeders, in their feelings, in gang stalk. I guess that's what you call it. I don't even know what gang stalk is. I've been hearing that term. I don't even know what that is, honey. But just like that, and it triggered me because it reminded me back to life. Because in my mind, only like little girls or teenagers would do that. Like, how are adult women, and some of these folks are much more mature, make it make sense? That's very disturbing that you're that miserable. And then you wonder why. I can't find a man. There is no good man out here. You know, I'm the kind of person, like in general, I like to try to figure things out. I like to learn. Like if it's something that I can't really understand, I like to really, really work my mind or research until I can understand it. That's I don't know. I guess I have to just go with the narrative that, it happened in childhood, or it's just maybe it's spirits. Thank you, Lord. It's spirit. It's evil, demonic spirits that have attached themselves to you. In addition to trauma, in addition to conditioning. But who's going to break that cycle? Are you going to stay miserable for the rest of your life? I mean, truthfully, if you had a very difficult childhood, let's just say you dealt with bullying and this, that, and the third, and you had a very rough life, wouldn't at some point truly you'll feel like, you know what? Okay, I'm 85 now. For 85 years, I've been tortured. I would love to live to see 100. So maybe these next 15 years, if I really, really apply myself and put the work in, I can finally find some kind of joy, some kind of peace, some kind of happiness. You're just going to spend the rest of your life miserable? Where's your get back? Where's your fight back? Where's your gruffness? You want to just let the enemy steal your life and make you miserable for all of your life? You're missing purpose and calling. You're missing destiny because God ain't about to mix up with that foolishness. You're supposed to be helped. Your ministry may be woman. You're missing the whole ministry because to all of my sisters, all, most of us, if not all of us, have the same struggle. We all deal with self-esteem issues at certain times. There's no woman in the world, I'll say that, who is walking around confident 24/7, 365 all of her life. I don't care how beautiful she is. She have her moments. We all deal with issues with these men, some men. Life is beating us down in some seasons. We're going through the same thing. Different things, same pain. So what is your problem? If there's a woman who you admire, see it in a way where you challenge yourself to come up to that level. And the crazy part about it is, truthfully, if she's a confident woman, if you ask her questions, she'll take your hand. It's going to be the mud ducks that run you off. A confident chick, a chosen chick, she wants to help you. But instead, you're attacking her. You're blocking your own blessings. Then you wonder why nobody wants you around. You hear about your friends or your family members who are having things at their house. Nobody wants you around because that energy is dark. It's heavy. You're making smirky comments. You're causing confusion between your groups. All because you're not internally fulfilled. Step your game up. That's all. Step your game up. Put the work in. What areas are you truly not Let's take some accountability here. What areas are you not comfortable with? So you're looking at somebody's pictures and you felt because the person got some legs showing, you're 500 pounds. So Lord, that's not nice. So you want to sit here and cry. No, the truth is you're just mad because you can't wear it. Let's be honest here. Let's be real here. Because how is someone else's legs affecting you or your life? No, I'm trying to be so serious and these images are popping up in my head. Take some accountability. What is the area that you struggle with? Is it complexion? This just popped in my mind. There's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sister. I mean, she had like that skin, I'm talking about glistening black chocolate. And she messaged me one time a couple of years ago. And she was just telling me that she feels, I think, like lighter tone skinned woman gets like all the attention. And of course, that can be, And I was like, but I've never had I mean, I'm not a light skinned woman. I consider myself to be brown skinned, but I've never had I guess the criticism of having darker skin. Truly, I didn't. I was trying to really listen to her so I can really kind of pour into her because the chick is so gorgeous. That skin is everything. That skin is everything. But when people have made you to hate something, and then she said, but Kizzy, you're not dark skinned. And I'm like, but I'm not light skinned. Because the light skinned people would say, no, you are dark skinned. They got everybody's head messed up and screwed up. So she said, but no, you're not dark skinned, so you wouldn't understand the struggle. And she was right. She was right. I was never told my skin is too dark. I mean, I guess when you compare it to somebody who's light skinned, But I've never like, so now what do? How do we heal this? Because I now see a lot of videos of females, like even like in Sudan and things like that, and they talk about how they went through that. Sadly, they went through that type of judgment, and now these chicks are like top models, and I mean they embrace it and gorgeous. So did they just wake up one day and say, I've been traumatized and now I'm healed? No, they had to put some work in. Put the work in. Take accountability. What areas do you need to work in? We all have areas we need to work on. I didn't feel beautiful yesterday. I sure did not. I went to the grocery store and I was just having one of those days. I just didn't feel beautiful that day. I'm a woman. I just didn't feel it. And as soon as I got into the grocery store, 5 people stopped me and said, "You're gorgeous." And I'm thinking to myself, huh? I ain't got no makeup on today. Yeah. And then the Holy Spirit convict me. Stop speaking against, right? So, Lord, you're right. Thank you. You're just as beautiful, sis. So that's all I have to say. But I just want to encourage all women, right? All. No, we're listen. Please don't be looking at people's social media, right? People are going to show you the highlights of their life. Put the work in. Put the work in.